of the things I've noticed lately is that people are more willing to look at their fears and face them, and they're more willing to step outside their comfort zones. And I think it's because people are letting themselves have bigger dreams and they become more committed to their dreams than they are to playing it safe. They know that if they play it safe, living their dreams might not happen. Hi, I'm Deborah Poneman, founder of Yes to Success, where we share knowledge and tools for you to live your ultimate life. And as I'm sure that you have heard so many transformational leaders say, if you are not scaring yourself every day, you are not thinking big enough. And something my friend Mary Pat Knight of Leaders Inspired says, when you do something outside your comfort zone, not only is that where your success lies, but your comfort zone expands. And the remarkable reward of constantly doing things outside your comfort zone is that doing the hard stuff becomes easy because you have that momentum going. But then there comes a point where you're called on to take the big risk, the one where you're really called upon to stand up for your truth and risk something big. I was on a call the other day with the diversity committee of an organization I belong to called the Association of Transformational Leaders. And we realized that one of the greatest reasons we don't stand in our truth is that we're afraid that we might lose friends or clients. So we do this dance to try and please all of the people all of the time, which basically will never work. It's just not possible. My friend Lisa Nichols was speaking, and she said something that really struck at the heart of this. She said, the times demand that you evict the need to protect your image. So what does that mean? Evict the need to protect your image. Well, again, it's a scary thing to do. But what it doesn't look like is this. Oh, I totally support Black Lives Matter, but I'm not going to say it on my podcast. I mean, what if I lose the people who aren't into equality and social justice? So basically, you're willing to compromise your values and the impact that sharing them can have on the future of the planet to protect your mailing list. Have you noticed that people who change the world don't play it safe? It doesn't take courage to be silent, and it's not convenient to speak up. But truth is never convenient, and growth is never convenient. Lisa went on to say, this I know for sure. For every 7 people who leave your database, 70 will come in if you stand in your truth. When I made the commitment to stand in my truth, I'm sure I lost way more than 7 people, but I'm sure that I gained more than 700. And more importantly, even if I gained 0, I gained self-respect. If you stand up for social injustice and lose friends, are those your friends anyway? If you lose, or are those the friends you want anyway? If you lose followers, are those the people you want on your database anyway? And it's not that I want people to leave my community who have different worldviews than I do. Everyone is entitled to their own political view, social view, worldview. But I used to stay silent because I wasn't wanting to offend anybody. I wasn't okay with people not liking me. I am so fine now with people not liking me. What I'm not fine with is being silent about inequality and about people thinking that they're better or more worthy than anybody else. You know, it takes courage to be brave and stand up for your truth when it can affect your livelihood. But courage and bravery do not come with convenience. If it's true conviction, it will cost you something. Hey, the greatest cost could be your life. So what? So what? Really? I mean, this bag of bones is not the end of the line. Actually, I want to read something to you from a book. This is a book that was actually put together by a wonderful friend of mine, Randy Pizer. And she is, where is her name on here? Edited by Dawson Church. But it was put together by Randy. Anyway, this is one of the chapters that Randy wrote in the book. And it's about a man. Well, actually, You'll see what it's about. It's about somebody who stood up for their truth very courageously. It goes like this. Excusez-moi. Recently, one of Donna Markova is the woman who wrote Random Acts of Kindness. And it says, recently, one of Donna Markova's clients, a corporate CEO who manages one of the 20 largest companies in the world, had to give a speech to 5,000 individuals from around the globe who represent a major industry. According to Dr. Markova, the people in the audience were, quote, part of destroying the planet as we know it. And the speech was to encourage further destruction through the industry's activities, end quote. The morning of the speech arrived, and she asked the CEO this question: what are you going to tell your daughters at the end of the day about what you talked about? At first, he said, what do you mean? She replied, what if you told them, quote, tonight I gave a speech to 5,000 people, and in the speech, I asked them all to take these actions that will destroy the planet. The CEO didn't reply. That evening, in the middle of his speech, the CEO stopped and looked up, and he said, a friend of mine asked me what I was going to tell my daughters at the end of the speech. I think all of us need to think about what we're doing and how we would describe it to our children. If we don't want to describe it to them, then maybe we ought to rethink what we're doing. Then she goes on to say, this man had more money than he could ever spend in his and his children's entire lifetimes, but he was so poor. His heart was poor. His life didn't nourish him. While his speech would have fostered more of the earth being destroyed, one simple question opened the door for him to a whole new life, not only for him, but a whole new life for the entire planet. I'd say that was really courageous, but we all know that the truth will set you free. When we can't find the courage to stand up for the truth, it's usually out of fear or lack of trust, because what our soul is telling us to do is an unknown territory, and it's easier to play it safe. If we play it safe, we don't risk doing the wrong thing. But fear shows up not because it's the wrong thing, or the wrong path, but because it's the right path. If you're not afraid, you're not playing big enough. Fear shows up as you get closer and closer to making your true contribution to the world. And no one promised any of us that life would be easy or safe. And when you overcome the big challenges, the really scary stuff, that's when the greatest growth takes place. It really has little to do with outcomes anyway. The outcome isn't even the point. It has to do with listening to your inner voice, trusting your intuition, doing what your intuition is asking you to do. Some people say, but I don't know what my intuition wants me to do. Yes, you do. You just don't know how to do it, or you don't know if you want to do it. Because intuition is not linear. And sometimes what that voice tells you to do seems unreasonable. But when you listen, you're putting the outcome in the creator's hands. And that intelligence knows exactly what she is doing. One of my favorite quotes from the Bible is from Psalm 126 that goes, when a man says, show me and I will trust you, God says, trust me and I will show you. So here's a little trick, okay? Next time you're in a situation where you're faced with obstacles or you're afraid to take a step or a stand, do this, okay? You stop, you locate where the tension is in your body. Is it in your throat? Is it in your heart? Is it in your gut? Find it and then breathe into it and ask that tension what it is there to tell you. And I promise there will be a message. The first time it might be difficult to follow the promptings of that message, but you'll be so rewarded, so generously rewarded when you do, that you won't be able to wait until the next time it speaks to you. And each time it will get easier and easier and easier. And then it starts being lots of fun. You just have to relax, surrender, and trust. And finally, I want to share a quote with you that my son once shared with me, and it goes like this: You relax on a plane even though you don't know the pilot. You relax on a ship even though you don't know the captain. You relax on a bus even though you don't know the driver. Why don't you relax in life knowing that the creator is in control? Just saying. Have a great week. Lots of love to you.